Hello, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this discussion live stream, I will be discussing the latest Nintendo Switch 2. I'm doing that with inverted commas. Reports. So sit back, relax, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the live stream / discussion. And as always, let me know what you think of the situation in the live chat below. Join in on the discussion, please. These latest Nintendo Switch 2 reports are quite interesting. The reason I say Nintendo Switch 2 in inverted commas is because none of this is official. Okay, these are just reports. I treat reports the same way I treat leaks or rumors, insider sources. None of it is official. Nintendo has yet to officially announce the successor to the Nintendo Switch. We don't know what it's going to be called. We don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know what it's going to do. We don't know nothing at the end of the day. That said, there are interesting reports doing the rounds on gaming media when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2. So I'm going to reference just one of them in the discussion. It's from IGN. Whether you like or hate IGN, it is safe to say that they are probably the most, I suppose, popular gaming media. So that's the IGN is where I'm going to be getting this article from about Nintendo Switch 2. So let me get that up here on my phone. Let me jump back into the live chat to see if anyone joined. So just to let you know, I won't be able to see the comments for a minute or two because I won't be able to see comments. Okay. So this is from IGN. It was posted September 7th, 2023, 1:03 p.m. Updated September 7th, 2023, 2:16 p.m. So the title is Nintendo reportedly rumored Switch 2 at Gamescom 2023. Visuals comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series. That's probably one of the most interesting parts. That's probably the most interesting part about this report on Switch 2. The plot thickens, they say. So this is by Wesley Yin-Poole, by the way. I'm just going to call him Wesley. Nintendo reportedly revealed Switch 2 behind closed doors at Gamescom 2023 last month, showing off the power of its upcoming next-gen console. According to Eurogamer, the Switch 2 was shown running a souped-up version of Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild, although there's apparently no suggestion the game will be re-released. That's also an interesting thing about these reports on Switch 2 that I'm going to get to. Meanwhile, VGC reported Nintendo showed off Epic's The Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo running on hardware with the specs Nintendo is targeting for its future console. The site said this demo ran using NVIDIA's AI-powered DLSS upscaling technology alongside ray tracing, with visuals comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. Nintendo is reportedly set to release its next-gen console during the second half of 2024, with development kits now with partner studios. Apparently, this new next-gen console can be used in portable mode, like the Nintendo Switch, and has an LCD screen as opposed to an OLED screen in order to keep costs down. It also comes with a cartridge slot for physical games. However, the crucial question of backwards compatibility with Nintendo Switch games remains unclear. Nintendo has yet to comment on the reports. In May, Nintendo said its long-rumoured Switch successor wouldn't release until April 2024 at the earliest. Nintendo President Shuntaro Furukawa explained during an investor's presentation that the company isn't considering new hardware in the 2023-2024 financial year, which ends March 31st, 2024. That comes despite a decline in Switch sales. The console sold close to 18 million units in the last financial year, down from 23 million sold the year before and 28 million the year before that. Nintendo isn't looking to rush a new console out to tackle this decline though, as it has forecast another drop for the coming year. And then this is a quote from Furukawa, Nintendo president. Sustaining the Switch sales momentum will be difficult in its 7th year, said Furukawa during the presentation. Our goal of selling 15 million units this fiscal year is a bit of a stretch, but we will do our best to bluster demand going into the holiday season so that we can achieve the goal. Rumours surrounding a new console have been circulating for years. The new console was set to offer boosted graphics akin to the PlayStation 4 and its Pro model, but there is no official information regarding the next piece of Nintendo hardware yet. This week, Nintendo said it had moved on to a brand new The Legend of Zelda game. I missed that memo. This week, Nintendo said it had moved on to a brand new The Legend of Zelda game, ruling out Tears of the Kingdom DLC. That game does not need DLC. I wouldn't want that game to have DLC, for my sanity. It seems likely, by the way, if you have joined the live stream and you've left a comment, thank you. I can't see comments right now because I'm reading this article, but I will get to your comment if you have left a comment. It seems likely this new Zelda game will launch on launch on Nintendo's next console. But will Nintendo re-release Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2? There's a bear shit in the woods. Meanwhile, Nintendo has announced a raft of games for Switch due out between now and the end of its fiscal year. These include Detective Pikachu Returns, the aforementioned Super Mario Bros. Wonder. They didn't mention that. That wasn't in the article yet. Why anyway, AJ? WarioWare Move It, a Super Mario RPG remake, which I'm really looking forward to playing. Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet DLC. Yeah, you want to fix the games first, wouldn't you? A visually enhanced version of Nintendo 3DS game, Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, and an untitled Princess Peach game. Nintendo still lists the missing in action Metro Prime 4 as a Nintendo Switch game. If anything, that would be the game that will launch on Switch 2, a bit like they did with Breath of the Wild. And that's the end of that chapter. Interesting stuff. Let me go back to the live stream to see if anybody has actually left a comment. Okay. Let me just go back in. Okay, it's been pretty quiet so far. In fact, I don't think anybody's actually watching. I know I don't do these type of discussions. I don't normally comment on rumors, leaks, reports, speculation. It's normally not my cup of tea, to be honest with you, or a cup of coffee, or cup of anything, to be honest with you. But I just found a few things interesting in these reports. And, well, I think, well, there's three things, but I think two of those are kind of identical. Okay, so the first thing that I find really interesting is when they say that this is interesting because they are two separate gaming media, right, reporting on this Switch 2. You have Eurogamer and you have VGC. So you have VGC saying that Nintendo showed off Epic's The Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo running on hardware with the specs Nintendo is targeting for its future console. The site said that this demo ran using NVIDIA's AI-powered DLSS upscaling technology alongside ray tracing with visuals comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. So the first thing that I find interesting is when VGC said that the Nintendo Switch 2 will have visuals comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. The key word there is comparable. A lot of people would argue that they are Nintendo Switch ports of PS4 and Xbox One games, where the Switch version is comparable to the PS4 and Xbox One version. Doesn't mean that the Switch is as powerful as a PS4 or an Xbox One. Just means that the ports are graphically comparable. I've played Outlast 2 on Nintendo Switch. I would say that Outlast 2 is graphically comparable. Sorry, I would say that Outlast 2 on Nintendo Switch is graphically comparable to Outlast 2 on PS4. But again, doesn't mean that the Nintendo Switch is as powerful as a PS4. So I find it interesting because I don't think for one second that Nintendo are going to go back to the days of playing with power. You know, now you're playing with power. That was the catchphrase, slogan, marketing campaign for Nintendo with their first two home consoles, the NES and the SNES. And with the SNES, they were saying, no, you're playing with superpower. Yeah, Nintendo are not going to be going back down that road anytime soon. Nintendo are moving forward. They've always been moving forward. They leave the specs game, the specs wars to Sony and Microsoft. That's their territory. Nintendo's territory is delivering fun and innovative experiences. That's not going to change anytime soon. So, do I think that the Nintendo Switch 2 will be as powerful as a PS5 and an Xbox Series X? Hell no. I don't even think it's technically possible, because more than likely whatever Nintendo call their next, the successor to the Switch, it's going to be a portable console. It's going to be a hybrid console. You're going to be taking this thing with you. So, yeah, portable PS5. Yeah, that ain't happening. That ain't happening. Unless you're going to have your console with a battery life of 20 minutes and exploding halfway through. I just can't see that happening, and I just can't see the Nintendo Switch 2 having graphics comparable to PS4. Having the exact same specs as a PS5 and an Xbox Series X. I don't think it's technically possible. And again, the key word is comparable. Visuals comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. Comparable doesn't mean that the Switch 2 is going to be technically identical to PS5 and Xbox Series X. And so that's, it's interesting, but it's interesting as well for another reason, and I think probably I'd say probably more important reason. And you know, there's a lot of gullible people out there. I don't mean to insult anyone, but there's a lot of gullible people out there that will look at this headline and say, Switch 2 is gonna be this super powerful console. Finally, Nintendo are going to release a powerful console. And then they're going to be hugely disappointed when that ends up not being the case. You see, what you have to understand here is Nintendo haven't confirmed anything regarding the successor to the Nintendo Switch. Everything that's out there on this Nintendo Switch 2 is purely speculation, it's rumor, it's leak and reports. And what VGC said in the latest reports, again, is visually comparable. Nintendo Switch 2 is visually comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Again, I mentioned earlier, Outlast 2 on Switch is, in my opinion, visually comparable to the PS4 version. Comparable doesn't mean identical. It just means you can compare. You can compare the taste of Coca-Cola with Pepsi. It doesn't mean it's an identical taste. So comparable doesn't mean equal. Doesn't mean identical. Like, if you have twins, identical twins, they look exactly the same. Whereas if you saw somebody who looked like you would compare yourself to this person. Or, you know, compared to you, I look a bit like you. It doesn't mean you are identical to that person. So I'm basically just explaining what comparable means to people. I shouldn't have to. But that's the first thing I found interesting. Again, the second thing, and it's pretty much the same thing really. But when they mention the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo, the first thing you're going to think of is that tech demo on PS5. I played the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo on PS5, and that, oh my days, that is the most visually impressive gaming-related experience I've ever had in my entire gaming life. It blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. Now, what you have to understand is, just because Nintendo possibly had this tech demo running on the Switch 2, again, it doesn't mean that tech demo would look exactly the same as it did on PS5. And it doesn't mean that the Switch 2 is going to be as powerful as a PS5. It just means it runs. There's a lot of games and experiences and engines that run on Nintendo Switch. Okay, you've got Mortal Kombat 11 running on Nintendo Switch. You've got Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal running on Nintendo Switch. It doesn't mean that the Nintendo Switch is as powerful as a PS4 or PS5. And you've got engines like Unreal Engine 3 and Unreal Engine 4, and I'm pretty sure even Unreal Engine 5 as is potentially running on Switch 2, like it's running on Switch as well. So what you have to understand is just because this is doing the rounds now. You know, I see Super Metal Dave 64 is having a fucking field day on this. It doesn't mean that the Nintendo Switch 2 and its games will look like that Matrix Unreal Engine 5 tech demo on PS5. Because PS5 is what makes that tech demo look good on PS5. That's what you have to understand. So I find that interesting. Again, be careful that you don't get sucked into these reports and think that Nintendo is somehow going to, you know, ditch their bread and butter, you know, all of a sudden. What else did I say was interesting? Oh yeah, this thing about Nintendo using the Switch launch title, Breath of the Wild, to demo the Switch 2. That's a bit of a strange one. You would think that would be Switch. You would think that would be Tears of the Kingdom. The way they're going with a Switch launch title, unless, okay, the only thing that I can think of, and it literally just popped into my head right now, maybe they'll want to show developers like the difference between Switch and Switch 2, because you know everyone remembers their first time playing Breath of the Wild on the Switch. So they're probably trying to like compare how the Switch 2 runs. So if you've got like Link running around like in full smooth 60 frames per second, because Breath of the Wild was 30 frames per second, if you were lucky, at times. So they could potentially be showing a full, like on 4K ray tracing, you know, visuals for Breath of the Wild running in 60 frames per second. And I think, like, for developers or for anyone really, like, you know, they would look at that and they would say, okay, that definitely looks better than Switch 1, and you know, developers get all excited and happy and you know, invest in this piece of hardware. So yeah, that's what I found interesting. So the live stream is a bit quiet at the moment, so I was kind of hoping that people would, you know, join in on the discussion. I'll probably end up doing another like follow up to this or something. I could do a video, not a video, but another live stream. But yeah, so I'll just wait for people to join if they want to. So you may have noticed I'm not really kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't really have a take on this. So I do find certain things interesting about the reports, as I just mentioned. But I'm not, there's a word I'm looking for. I can't find the word. I'm kind of neutral about, that's the only word that I can find at 20 past midnight here when I'm half asleep. The only word I can come up with is I'm neutral on this. Like, I'm not exactly jumping up and down with excitement. Oh, Switch 2 news, because it's not Switch 2 news, and it's not even a Switch 2, because Nintendo have yet to officially announce a successor to the Switch. We don't know if it's going to be called Switch 2. It could be called something completely different. And it's not news, it's just reports. So, like, yeah, I'm not jumping up and down with excitement with these Switch 2 news and, oh my god, it's going to have PS5 graphics and, oh, you know, this is so exciting. And at the same time, I'm not like, you know, God, you know, it's not going to have PS5 graphics. It's going to be shit. You know, like, I am the kind of gamer that just likes my news to come from official sources in an official time. So if Nintendo decide to hold an event to showcase their next console, then that's where I will get my information from. And as I mentioned earlier, look, it's almost like somebody in Ireland, my home country, my homeland of Ireland. It rains a lot in Ireland. Yet, no matter how many times it rains, we're never quite prepared. We're never quite, oh God, it's raining. I can't believe it's raining in Ireland. Oh, this is so shocking. That's a bit like how gamers react when Nintendo announce a console that doesn't have specs the same as PlayStation and Xbox. Oh, how could Nintendo release a console that isn't graphically comparable to Xbox and PlayStation? This is so shocking. How is it shocking? Nintendo literally have not been competing with Xbox and PlayStation in the area of graphics and specs since the GameCube. That's literally 2002. 21 years ago. Nintendo has exited the spec wars 21 years ago. They're not going to return to that war anytime soon. With the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo went in a different direction, and that direction was innovation and fun. And they left Sony and Microsoft battle it out in the spec wars. So I don't understand why people, to this day, 21 years later, still act so surprised when Nintendo release hardware that isn't graphically comparable to PlayStation and Xbox. Just accept it. I'm telling you. Look, this is exactly the same as when there were early reports on the NX. I remember there were people coming out there saying this was going to be a supercomputer. Like, they literally were talking about supercomputer type graphics here. I mean, look, the Switch is great for what it is. It's essentially a tablet. It is essentially a handheld. You put Joy-Cons onto it and dock it, and it becomes, a console or whatever. And it can do great things, right? But it is no fucking supercomputer. That's not going to change with the Switch 2. Am I saying that the Switch 2 is going to have the exact same specs as the Switch? Of course it's not. There's also, I suppose, there is another piece of, I don't want to call it information because it's not actually official, but I will nonetheless because I can't think of any other word to use. I'm so tired. But there's another piece of information doing the rounds on this Switch 2 report, and that's that it's going to have 12 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I don't have a clue. I don't have an absolute clue what that even means. I'm just a gamer who plays my games. I don't really look too much into or care about the specs. But apparently it's 3 times more RAM than the original Switch. Whatever the hell that means. So I don't know what none of us know what this next console is going to be able to do. But I just don't think that it's gonna. I know that this next console, Switch 2, whatever you want to call it, is not going to be this super powerful piece of hardware. It will have some piece of innovation that we really haven't experienced in gaming before, or at least done by Nintendo. Because that's an interesting thing I actually want to discuss here. Because, like, there's times where Nintendo will take a technology that currently exists, but they will add the Nintendo touch to it. It's a bit like how they handle their software. It's a bit like how they handle their IPs. They will take a particular genre of game and add the Nintendo touch to it and make it their own. And they're going to use the likes of Mario Kart, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, Super Smash Brothers, as an example of how Nintendo will take a genre like racing, give it a Nintendo Touch, and give you Mario Kart. They will take the genre of golf games or tennis games and give you Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. And they will take the genre of fighting games, beat 'em ups, whatever you want to call them, and they will give you Super Smash Bros. So you get the point. And I'm also going to mention, like, Nintendo will take the genre of team-based third-person online shooters and give you Splatoon. So that's how they add the Nintendo Touch to their games. But when it comes to technology, you get technology like the Nintendo 3DS. Like, Nintendo didn't invent 3D technology. I'm talking about visual 3D technology now, okay? Nintendo didn't invent stereoscopic 3D, but when TV companies were desperately trying to sell 3D TVs and it didn't take off very well, and they were very costly and clunky, and you had these big clunky 3D glasses that you have to have on you the whole time, Nintendo gave us the 3DS and said, well, you certainly don't need a TV and you don't need 3D glasses. You just buy a console and you get stereoscopic, glasses-free 3D out of the box. Like, Nintendo did that. So they're not always like, and they didn't invent motion controls, and they didn't invent touchscreen technology. Yet Nintendo were behind two of the most successful gaming systems, the DS and the Wii, which gave us, touchscreen gaming and motion control gaming. So, like, Nintendo had this way of, like, they don't always like invent stuff for the first time, but they will take a piece of technology, add a Nintendo Touch to it, and apply it to gaming. And as a result, give people a gaming experience that they actually haven't ever experienced before. So that's what I think Nintendo are going to continue to do with this Switch 2. It's not just going to be a portable PS5. Do you honestly think that if portable PS5 was possible, that Sony wouldn't have just given us that instead of the PlayStation Portal? I mean, like or hate the PlayStation Portal, it's the only thing possible for PlayStation to give you some kind of portable PlayStation 5 experience. If it was possible, they would have done it. The same with Microsoft as well. There is absolutely no way in hell that you're going to be getting a hybrid console that you can take with you that is going to be as powerful as the PS5. You will more than likely have something that is kind of like PS4 Pro-esque, if anything. But then again, I mean, who am I to say it either way? But I don't know. I don't normally do these. I wasn't even planning on doing this discussion, because I normally don't kind of bother with these things. But I just see that it was just taken off. It was taken off like more than before. Like, I mean, it's common. I mean, Nintendo are going to announce their successor for the Switch like soon. I mean, the Switch has been on the market 7 years. It doesn't matter if they have games coming to Switch. There was games coming to PS4 when PS5 came out, and in fact, there was still games coming to PS4 even when PS5 came out. There's still games coming to PS4 and PS5. That doesn't change anything, Especially if you can do backwards compatibility correct as well. I don't think that would be a problem. I mean, if Switch 2 was fully backwards compatible with Switch 1, or whatever they call it, then you just continue playing Mario RPG on the Switch 2. See, people don't look at it like that. People don't look at it like that. People look at it all differently, which is fine, I'm probably not going to be able to predict Nintendo's successor to the Switch, like I did with the NX, and it's actually on my channel. Actually, I successfully predicted what the NX was. obviously I didn't predict what it was going to be called, so that would be insane. But I mean, it's not much of a prediction. It's more based off what Nintendo did with the NX reveal, and kind of like looking at what Nintendo do today. You know, looking at their kind of their trends, their routines. You know how they go about stuff. Because Nintendo has changed dramatically over the years, as I mentioned. Like over the last 21 years, like Nintendo has changed dramatically with the rise of social media, like YouTube. Nintendo has changed how they communicate with their fan base, with their consumers. One of the areas, of course, is like Nintendo Direct. Like there used to be a time where you'd have to wait, like literally like once a year at E3 summer to hear about like the biggest and newest Nintendo game. Now you just have to wait a couple of months and Nintendo will just show you directly this game. And that's obviously taken off so much to the point where third parties have their own kind of like direct style presentations. PlayStation does, Xbox does. They all do it now. But apart from like directs, like I mean, social media and the internet is so big, influential. It has a massive impact on like advertisement, like the reach that social media has today is huge. You can reach so many people, and so many people will be talking about it. I mean, you know, you hear people saying, "Oh, this is trending on social media. You know, this has broken the what the hell?" Strange music. Less of the spamming, please. Unless you are welcome to the live chat.
Johnny Bean Streamang.
Well, I'm hardly playing bingo now. Strange music. Am I? Nonetheless, how are you keeping? Welcome to the discussion live stream where I'm discussing the latest Nintendo Switch 2 reports that are doing the rounds on gaming media. I'll give you a quick recap, seeing as I just joined the live stream. So yeah, there are some interesting Nintendo Switch reports doing the rounds on gaming media. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap. This is from IGN. It was posted today. Nintendo reportedly demoed Switch 2 at Gamescom 2023. Visuals comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series. The plot thickens. Nintendo reportedly revealed Switch 2 behind closed doors at Gamescom 2023 last month, showing off the power of its upcoming next-gen console. According to Eurogamer, the Switch 2 was shown running a souped-up version of Switch launch title Zelda Breath of the Wild, although there is apparently no suggestion the game will be re-released. Meanwhile, VGC reported Nintendo showed off Epic's The Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo running on hardware with the specs Nintendo is targeted for the future console. The site said that this demo ran using NVIDIA's AI-powered DLSS upscaling technology alongside ray tracing, with visuals comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles. Nintendo is reportedly set to release its next-gen console during the second half of 2024 with development kits now with partner studios. Apparently,
the first
this
console ever that can handle F-Zero.
That's definitely chat anyway. I don't even have to look at the live chat to see that. Apparently, this new next-gen console can be used in portable mode like the Nintendo Switch and has LCD screen as opposed to an OLED screen in order to keep costs down. It also comes with a cartridge slot for physical games. However, the crucial question of backwards compatibility with Nintendo Switch games remains unclear. Nintendo has yet to comment on the reports. And how do you do, Nicole? Welcome to the live chat. How are you keeping? Feel free to join in on the discussion. I know that was Chad back there with the F-Zero comment. So Chad, you're also welcome to the live chat. How are you keeping? Feel free to join in on the discussion on these latest Nintendo Switch 2 reports, where according to VGC, the Switch 2 is comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. In May, Nintendo said its long rumored Switch 2 successor wouldn't release until. The rest is just boring stuff, really. Yeah, the rest is just boring stuff. So that was a recap there for my lovely and latest. That wasn't Chad. I'm surprised. That wasn't actually Chad. I thought that was a Chad comment. The first console ever that can handle F-Zero. Thought that was Chad being funny. So let me know what you think. So what I was saying earlier was, so social media has a huge reach now. You know, like something can get announced on the internet and social media and it can break the internet. You know, so many people talking about it. Like they're not at LA at E3 talking about it. They're not, you know, at some gaming conference talking about it. They're not watching television talking about it. They're not listening to the radio talking about it. They're not reading a magazine talking about it. They have been on social media, YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, Twitch, whatever it might be, some kind of like video presentation from this website on the internet.
There is that weird, Nintendo is always behind belief, when really that was true after the Wii. The handheld line technically, but th.
There is that. How is my computer voice on? Strange. Yeah, there is that weird Nintendo is always behind belief, when really that was true after the Wii. The handheld line technically, but there wasn't really a credible contender there till the PSP. Yeah, but look what happened to Vita. I don't think there is any contender for Nintendo in the handheld market. Personally, all I would say is where is
Which
the...
still released after the DS, so even that's not a clear-cut case of Nintendo being behind the competition, partially since they wouldn't. Design started, basically after losing 2 gens when going too hard on power first, while ignoring things like media format. The Wii was a buy.
So there is a lot of people out there, of course. Every single time Nintendo announce a new piece of gaming hardware, they will respond with Nintendo is always behind. But what they need to remember is 21 years ago was the GameCube.
Hello music, I don't know where they got the PS5 quality so low.
Oh, they got that from... So VGC are reporting that Nintendo showed the Unreal Engine 5 Matrix tech demo on this Switch 2 to developers. That's where they're saying that it's visually comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series X. That's where that's coming from. So yeah, so after the GameCube, Nintendo exited the tech wars and left that with Xbox and PlayStation. And instead Nintendo went down the road of delivering innovative and fun experiences with the Wii, the DS, the Wii U, and now the Switch. And I can't see them going back from that anytime soon. And as far as the handheld, market, handheld competition is, yes, the PSP was a very, very creditable competitor to the handheld scene, 100%. But then we got the Vita, and it had all this power, all this potential, but no games to back it up. And now PlayStation have no portable, because the Portal is not necessarily a handheld console. So design, which still released after the DS, so even that's not a clear-cut case of Nintendo being behind the competition, partially since they wouldn't have known Sony was entering the market with it. I'm not quite sure, I don't understand what you're saying there, but nonetheless, designs started basically after losing 2 gens when going too hard on power. First, while ignoring things like media format, the Wii was... so I hear what you're saying. So with the N64, Nintendo didn't embrace like CD-ROM technology, and that was big because that meant that developers had a lot more space with PlayStation. That's why we got games like Final Fantasy VII on PS1 as opposed to N64, because Final Fantasy VII was originally meant to be on N64, but Squaresoft at the time, they couldn't do what they wanted to do on N64. Same with the GameCube. They went with their own kind of like optical disc, the mini disc basically, and that was, I think that was like costly, and it was like it just gave a lot of developers a headache as well. So yeah, but the thing is, after the GameCube, Nintendo went down the route of delivering innovative and fun experiences, and they're not competing with Xbox and PlayStation in terms of specs. I would say they're competing with Xbox and PlayStation in terms of entertainment, like in terms of delivering entertaining, video games, fun experiences. That's the area where Nintendo competes with PlayStation and Xbox. But yeah, it's kind of hard to understand. If you don't mind me saying, Strange Music, it's kind of hard to understand what you're saying, but I think I get it though. I think I get it. And yeah, Nicola, I hope I clear things up for you there. So there, apparently, according to reports from Eurogamer and VGC, Nintendo showcased this Switch 2 to select developers at Gamescom last month, and they apparently, according to VGC, they apparently had the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 tech demo running on hardware with the specs Nintendo is targeting for its future console. The site said that the demo ran using NVIDIA's AI-powered DLSS upscaling technology alongside ray tracing with visuals comparable to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series. So the thing is, and I mentioned this earlier in the discussion, what people really need to understand here is the key word there is comparable. Comparable doesn't mean identical. Comparable doesn't mean that the Switch 2 is going to be as powerful as the PS5 and Xbox Series X. And just because this tech demo was running on the Switch 2 dev kit, may I add, because that would have been a dev kit, it doesn't mean it's going to look the same as what it did on PS5. So people need to really read between the lines here, and I suppose just kind of like understand what they're actually reading before they kind of jump the gun and think that Nintendo are going to somehow exit their strategy that they've been doing for years now. Since since the DS and Wii launched, which again is innovation and fun, delivering fun and innovative gaming experiences that people haven't actually experienced before. So whether that was touchscreen gaming, I mean, obviously, again, Nintendo didn't invent touchscreen technology, but they were the first to introduce touchscreen gaming. Even before Apple released like iPhones and iPads, Nintendo were on the market with the DS. And of course, then with the Wii, again, Nintendo didn't invent motion controls, but they brought motion control gaming, to the masses. And so we all know how popular the Wii was. The less said about the Wii U, the better. And the Switch, I would say the Switch kind of like moved on from, I suppose, the kind of the gimmicky innovation. I mean, obviously DS and Wii were very innovative, but there was still that kind of a gimmicky kind of feel to it. Like a lot of people just wanted to just play their games traditionally. So with a Switch, you can sit down in front of your TV with a traditional controller and play your games in the traditional sense. Games like Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, Mortal Kombat 11, or whatever game tickles your fancy bone. Red Dead Redemption, whatever you're into. It's all there. But so the innovation really of Switch was just for the first time in the gaming industry, you had a hybrid console. You had a gaming experience where you could go from sitting on your couch and playing your games traditionally on your big TV to literally taking your console with you anywhere and continuing playing your games. So the one system, the one game, the one experience, a unified gaming experience is what the Switch is. That's where the innovation comes in there. Obviously the Joy-Cons as well. You know, HD Rumble. Just being able to have those two separate controllers out of the box and being able to have that like kind of being able to have that local multiplayer experience. Like I remember when Nintendo were advertising this console for the first time, I wouldn't have the social confidence to do it. But the thing was, like, you could literally be sitting on a bench and somebody beside you could be looking at you and say, "Oh, what's this? What are you playing here?" And you say, "Oh, this is the Switch, and I'm playing Mario Kart. Do you want a game?" And you could just hand them the Joy-Con, and all of a sudden they're playing Mario Kart. So that was the innovation of Switch. I think with the Switch 2, they're going to go beyond that. They're going to give you an experience that you haven't experienced before. If I would have to guess, I'd say something along the lines of merging 3D, AR, and VR in some kind of fucked up way. Not so fucked up way, but some kind of like basically some kind of like Nintendo magic way. I would say that it might be something like the transition from DS to 3DS, because obviously there was a massive like graphical upgrade from DS to 3DS, massive. You know, so on 3DS you had games like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. You had Splinter Cell Chaos Theory on the thing. That was a big thing back then, you know. That was a big move. The 3DS had some pretty good visuals for what it was. Really, no, honestly. But it also had stereoscopic, glasses-free 3D. That was obviously the biggest kind of like appeal. That was the biggest hook of the 3DS. So maybe this Switch 2 will have that kind of something like that. I haven't a clue, to be honest with you. But I think people shouldn't look too much into, I don't know, I mean, it's up to themselves if they want to look too much into it, but I am not looking too much into these reports. I just wanted to discuss it and talk about it. I mean, people, oh God, please. Just like I'm telling people not to go out and buy PlayStation Portal and think that you can play Spider-Man 2 on the plane. Please do not think that the Switch 2 is going to be a portable PlayStation 5. Please. Because it's not going to happen. I mean, I made the comparison earlier. Between people in Ireland who just never quite get used to rain. Oh my God, it's raining. To people who, whenever Nintendo announce a new gaming hardware, are like, oh my God, I can't believe it's not as powerful as an Xbox or a PlayStation. Like, it still surprises people. It still catches people off guard. I just cannot understand it. Like, I don't think Nintendo can get any worse. Like, not that they are. I don't think that Nintendo are going to be going back. What I mean is, look at the Switch. Did anyone think that when the Switch got announced, when you went from the Wii U, right, to the Switch, did anyone really think that they'd be playing games like Doom Eternal, or Mortal Kombat 11, or Outlast 1 and 2 on the Switch, or The Witcher 3 on the Skyrim on the Switch? Did anyone really think they would have that on the Switch? I don't think most people thought that would ever happen. I think most people just thought, okay, Nintendo will bring their first-party games, and then there'll be a handful of exclusive third-party games, and then really watered-down ports on the Switch, as in like games with like no multiplayer or like no content, like it was on the Wii and even certain Wii U games. But instead you got the full package on Switch. So you're not going to go back from that. You're going to go forward from that. So yeah, you're not going to have a console for Nintendo that's going to be as powerful as the PlayStation or an Xbox, but it's going to be better than Switch. Does anybody want to join in on discussion? Because I'm absolutely exhausted. Strange Music has went from paragraphs to silence on this particular topic. But yeah, I just find it interesting. It's always kind of it's slightly exciting in a way because you know you're getting closer to the reveal of a new console. You know, that's where the excitement comes in. I don't know if there's any more breaking news on it. I'll check my Facebook newsfeed and see if anyone is talking about it. But what really got me was the fact that Nintendo have confirmed they've already moved on to their next Zelda game. That I missed that memo. I missed that memo so much.
It is exciting for that.
I did not get that memo. That's exactly it, Nicola. You know, it's exciting knowing that we're on the cusp, we're on the verge of a gaming, you know, of a console reveal, and that's always an exciting part. But I just don't think we should get too caught up with like the potential specs of this new Nintendo console. Just people. Just please understand. Please understand. Nintendo have not been competing with PlayStation and Xbox in the area of specs since the Nintendo Wii. I'm sure most of the people that are bashing Nintendo for this weren't even born when the Wii came out. Well, maybe not most, but there's probably some people out there that are that young. Or maybe like was just very, very young when the Wii came out. I mean, come on. Look, listen to me. If the PlayStation 5, if we go back to like 2020 when the PS5 came out, right? Imagine if PlayStation announced the PS5 and it had the exact same specs as PS4. That would be shocking. I would be like, what the fuck is going on here? That would be absolutely shocking. Right? But like, Nintendo announcing a console with specs that are not comparable to PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Not comparable to PlayStation and Xbox. That's not shocking because Nintendo have made it very clear ever since the Wii that they have their mindset, their business mindset, they have moved on from specs. Specs is not what makes their games fun. Specs is not what defines their company. And all you have to do, Jesus H. Christ, all you have to do is look at the sales of Nintendo software on Switch to see that has been very successful for Nintendo, moving away from specs and focusing on fun and innovative experience. I'm actually just going to search Switch software sales just for a moment there now for you. Let's just have a quick look here. Okay. I'm trying to find more recent. I'm trying to find. Oh, never mind that. This should be it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So, PlayStation will give you ultra realistic graphics. PlayStation will give you a technical masterpiece in the racing genre with Gran Turismo 7. That's what PlayStation will give you, because that's what PlayStation specializes in. Nintendo have moved away from that side of things, and they focus on delivering you fun and innovative experience. Got the S. Which is why Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, as of June 30th, 2023, has sold 55.46 million copies. Animal Crossing, New Horizons. Anything but a technical masterpiece. As of June 30th, 2023, sold 42.79 million copies. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as of June 30th, sold 31.77 million copies. By the way, these are all June 30th, so I won't bother repeating the date. Breath of the Wild, 30.65 million. Super Mario Odyssey, 26.44 million. Pokemon Sword and Shield, 25.92 million. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, 22.66 million. Super Mario Party, 19.39 million. Tears of the Kingdom, 18.51 million. Bear in mind, that game only came out in May. So from May to June, so from the 12th of May to the 30th of June, which is literally just over a month. So in over a month, Tears of the Kingdom sold 18.51 million. So obviously Xbox, they'll give you a technical masterpiece, space exploration with super realistic graphics with Starfield. But in just over a month, Nintendo, with their stylized graphics of Tears of the Kingdom, as opposed to ultra realistic graphics, sold 18.51 million. New Super Mario Bros. Deluxe sold 16.70 million. Ring Fit Adventure sold 15.38 million. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, no, these are two games, bear in mind, unless 15.07 million. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl sold 15.06. Pokemon Legends Arceus sold 14.83 million. Splatoon 2 sold 13.60 million. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold 12.82 million. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury sold 11.38 million. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not going to go any further because there's just so many games. And now, why the hell Minecraft is listed in there? Obviously, it's probably the Minecraft Switch Edition, but nonetheless, that sold 5.3 million. That's a strange one. But anyway, look, my point there, because I went way off track there. My point is, Nintendo don't compete with PlayStation and Xbox in the area of specs, but that doesn't mean that Nintendo can't sell games or hardware for that matter, because the Switch has sold like 130 million so far. It's actually outsold lifetime sales of PS4. So does Nintendo need high-end specs to sell hardware and software? No. Look, you're still going to have Nintendo haters. Look, so God love them. So God bless them. You know, they have to have something to do. You know, you have to give them something to do. We can't take that away from them, you know. It wouldn't be right, you know. Like, Nintendo haters, have your fun. They're always going to be there, you know. It's just the way it is. But yeah, Nintendo don't need high quality specs to sell hardware and software. It's not what Nintendo do anymore. It's not what they do. I mean, put it this way. All those sales figures I mentioned, the software sales figures, the hardware sales figures for Switch, did the NES have those sales? The SNES? The N64? The GameCube? No. And here's the thing. All of those consoles, those were released in a time when Nintendo actually did care about specs. In fact, their slogan was, "Know you're playing with power." The GameCube was the most powerful piece of hardware on the market at that time. If you stop and think about it, with the exception of the Wii U, because again, the less said about the Wii U, the better. The Wii is one of Nintendo's most successful consoles, selling well over 100 million. The DS speaks for itself. I think that's like 150 million or something like that. And now you have the Switch. One of Nintendo's most successful piece of gaming hardware ever released. And none of them specialized in specs. So Nintendo's consoles that specialized in specs sold less than Nintendo's consoles that didn't specialize in specs. So that's business, that's statistics, and it will show you that not playing with power has proven to be very profitable for Nintendo, and I don't think they're going to go back from that. Not in this fucking climate. Not when you have like the power of PS5 and Xbox Series X. Fucking hell. Not when potentially PlayStation is going to have a PS5 Pro around the corner. Nintendo are done with that side of things. Nintendo will give you fun and innovative gaming experiences, and people will buy it and they will like it, and that's why the Switch has sold so much, and that's why their games have sold so much. This isn't a fucking Nintendo PR fucking discussion, may I add, so I'm not going to go off track any further, but it was just a point to make, because people will be so surprised by these reports. To this day, they will still be surprised, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, how is Nintendo Switch 2 not as powerful?" No, according to, the funny thing is, I'm not making any sense here, am I? Because according to these reports, I'm actually kind of, in a way, I'm like arguing with the report. But like, according to this report, the Switch 2 has visuals comparable to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, so be it. I don't care either way, to be honest. Because I like to play my games and just have fun playing my games, and that's all that matters. I couldn't care less either way. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You can all let me know on this exact live stream when Nintendo reveal this console, and it ends up, what the fuck? I got bitten or something. I'm not even joking. Nintendo has bitten me. Shigeru Miyamoto has bitten me. But what the fuck was that though? No, but yeah, you can correct me if I'm wrong. If the Switch 2 ends up becoming like as powerful as a PS5 and Xbox One, I don't know. I mean, look, I'm not the most technical person going. I don't know. Maybe mobile chips, as in like chips for like mobile devices, maybe they work differently to the chips that are put into like, PCs and consoles. Maybe you can do things differently with mobile chips. Maybe you can get a lot more power out of them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was surprised when I saw like the rise of smartphones, and all of a sudden you have like Grand Theft Auto 3.
Would
like
be really cool if so, lol.
It would be. Well, wouldn't it be surprising? And I would definitely be eating my words. That's for sure. It would be very cool. I would agree with you. Very cool indeed. So yeah, I was taken aback when I saw like, you know, full console games running on a mobile phone. I remember playing Snake on a mobile phone, and I'm like, now we have like Grand Theft Auto 3 on a mobile phone. So I don't know. Maybe mobile chips work differently. Who am I to say? I haven't a clue. I just know that Nintendo. This is what I do know. I just know that Nintendo has stepped away from specs, and I can't see them stepping back into it anytime soon. But again, I don't know. What else can I add to this now? I suppose just telling people that they shouldn't not tell people what they shouldn't do. I suppose advise people that maybe just don't invest too much on these reports. It always happens. Look, like I feel like I'm quoting RTG now. I do watch his videos, and it's only because I'm watching his videos that I'm probably going to end up fucking quoting. One thing he says is so true. Like, and it's not even him saying. I mean, it's any comment. Look, listen, the Switch has been on the market for 7 years.
Maybe the Switch 2 will have better performance for the big ports that have issues.
That would be good, actually, for people. You mean like backwards compatibility? Like, yeah, that would be definitely good. Like, you know, to be able to throw in your old, you know, Doom Eternal, like in the Switch 2, and get like 60 frames, like, you know, 4K experience on the go. Like, that would be good. But it's definitely going to be powerful. I mean, it's definitely going to be somewhat powerful. Like, you know, I mean, the Switch itself is a pretty powerful console. It's what it can do. Again, I mean, look at what a Switch is. I mean, I think every now and again, I'm not even joking. Every now and again, I literally just undock my Switch, take off the Joy-Cons, strip my Switch, basically. I just strip my Switch. And I just put it on like a cushion or my bed or whatever on a soft surface, obviously, because you know, I look after my Switch. And I just admire it. I swear to God, it's the only word I can use. I just look at all I see is a screen. It's a tablet. It's literally a tablet. I mean, look at it. If you have a PS5 right now, right, or even a PS4 for that matter. Look at your console. Look at your PlayStation. It's a pretty big piece of like computer hardware. It's full of, you know, chips and everything else inside, and that's what runs your console. You literally have with the Switch a screen, and just by putting into a bit of plastic called the dock, with a HDMI cable connected to it, you're getting a full console experience. Like The Witcher 3, Skyrim, Outlast 1 and 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. I mean, that is quite fucking impressive. So, the successor to that, no matter what the specs are, the successor to that is something to look forward to, if you ask me. Because I think Nintendo are in uncharted territory, which is quite, even the Nintendo president spoke about this, it's quite, like he's always conscious of like what happened with the Wii U. But I think he's in uncharted territory at the same time, and that's what must be kind of worrying him as well, and the company. Is because it's a completely different strategy. Like, before it was they have their hardware business and they have their handheld business, and they were separate. But now having this hybrid, it's very, very different. It's very, very different from Nintendo, I think.
Very impressive. It's the best part of the Switch.
It really is, and that's what appeals to people. I mean, you've got games like the Batman trilogy. These are games that came out years ago. Look at Red Dead Redemption. More people were excited for the Switch version of Red Dead Redemption than what there were of the PlayStation 4, and that's a fact. That's not. I don't even have the game, first of all. So please don't anyone call me a fucking fan. I do not have that game. I do not want that game. I will not support that greed, not corruption, but greed and I wouldn't say they're corrupt. Like, well, some people say they're corrupt. I would not support like greed and laziness. But it's very impressive. Like
what if they put out like a more powerful dock for it?
That is definitely a possibility, because at the end of the day, it is the dock that turns your Switch into a console. It is the dock that improves the resolution from 720p to 1080p. So the dock does a lot more than people, think it does. So I think the dock could play a much bigger role in the Switch 2. But something tells me, though, they're going to make it more... The dock is going to become a lot more portable. I think it'll be... I don't know why, I'm just getting this like round surface in my mind. Like some kind of circular dock, right? Spherical dock where you basically slot your Switch into that. I don't know why I'm getting that. And I think it also could possibly be even wireless. That can wirelessly connect to your TV. You probably get like a dongle that you put in your TV. I've had to put it into like a USB port or whatever else, and it will like wirelessly connect. I don't know. But yeah, the dock is underrated as well. Like, but it's very impressive. When you completely like strip the Switch and just lay it on your bed. But it is very impressive for what it can do. And people like that. I mean, people like that they can get like a console quality game. Batman Trilogy, Red Dead Redemption, whatever it is, like on this tablet, on this screen that they can take with them anywhere. But because it has the Joy-Cons, out of the box, like it's not like a super powered Android, that you have to kind of get these like third party fucking controller things to make it work. Like it's the Joy-Cons feel very comfortable. Every button you need is on that Joy-Con. I mean, people don't, I've come across comments of people saying, I actually think it was about Mortal Kombat, I think, on the Switch or something like that. How would you even play it? Does the Switch have all the buttons? It literally has every button. I'm looking at my Switch right now, Doc. It has your 2 analog sticks. It has your your directional buttons, like up, down, left, right, D-pad, sorry. It has your face buttons. It has select and start. Yes, start. I see a lot of memes lately showing up my newsfeed about like how Gen Z will call it options, or the Switch case it's fucking minus or plus, whatever else. Select and start, always select and start. It always will be select and start. And then you've got the 4 shoulder buttons, and of course you've got L3 and R3. So you've every button you need to play a game on Switch, and it's comfortable to hold in your hands as well. And of course you get the Pro Controller in as well. So yeah, it's an impressive piece of hardware for what it is, and people like that, and that's why people get excited when ports of really old games like come to Switch. They're more excited to play on the Switch because they can play it on the go. I mean, they've got a long journey ahead of them in the morning or whatever else, or to just want to lie in bed or whatever, take a shit or whatever, that they can play their games in that fashion. It's a portable. People like portable gaming, I think, overall. It's not for everyone, but overall people like the idea of being able to have their games with them on the go, Okay, I'm going to wrap up this live stream. As always, I never quite know how to do that. I never quite know how to actually wrap up the fucking live stream. Okay, just know that everything I've said, just know that the IGN article, it's all speculation. I don't care. It's speculation. I know they're saying reports. I know they're saying like Eurogamer is saying this and VGC is saying this, but I mean, who are their sources? Do you know, I was literally watching a video earlier today, right? Some guy talking about a rumoured Nintendo Direct next week. That's not. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a Direct next week. That's not the part that got me. The part that got me was there was a discussion about this guy, and he was saying something about like that, you know, that they can like see YouTube's private videos. So that, but it was literally what I heard was, my uncle works at YouTube. I lost it. I just started bursting out laughing watching the video, and I just turned it off then there. My uncle works at YouTube. I mean, like, how fucking original, you know? there's going to be a Direct next week because my uncle works at YouTube. Oh God, hilarious. But yeah, just bear in mind that none of this is official. Just wait. Just wait until Nintendo do their revealing. Because I think we go down that rabbit hole of, you know, on the internet of like getting our information from leaks and reports and rumors, and we in our heads we create this image of what the Switch 2 is going to be based off what the internet is saying, based off what reports and rumors and leaks are saying of the Switch, and you know, a lot of the times we overhype ourselves then, and we create this perfect image in our head of what this console is going to be, what the kind of games are going to come out on it, and we start joining the dots online. I mean, you're going to get people now that are going to say, oh, that means that rumor about Final Fantasy VII Remake being a launch title looking like a PS5 game, oh, no, it adds up. Now it adds up. You know, like some kind of fucking conspiracy theory shit or something, right? And then what happens? Then what happens is Nintendo, you know, the company who will actually be designing this next console, will reveal the console, and it won't be what you expected it to be. And it won't have the games that you expected it to be. And then you get all upset and angry. And it doesn't, nobody benefits. Nobody benefits. Just wait until Nintendo reveal this console. It's Nintendo. You know, I mean, like, they will give you something fun. And I think that the current Nintendo president is very aware of the Wii U. He's very aware of what happened with the Wii U. He knows that he can't just rely on the success of Switch, you know, to automatically make its successor a success. So just leave it in the hands of Nintendo. They will announce it in their own time. They will reveal it in their own time. So that's my advice to people. But I think what will happen in terms of a reveal is what they did with the Wii U. I think what will happen is you will be sitting down having a hot cup of tea, maybe eating a nice slice of soda bread, whatever tickles your fancy, and you'll take your phone out, go onto Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever, and you'll be casually scrolling through your phone, scrolling through your newsfeed, and the next thing, bang, Nintendo. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. to learn what's next for Nintendo. And people lose their fucking minds. They lose their shit. And finally, officially, Nintendo acknowledge a successor to the Switch, and they're actually going to be revealing it. If you've just joined in, sorry, that's not actually happening. So yeah, the internet breaks. People are, it's trending online. Nintendo socials are trending. Their YouTube.
Hi chat, hi Greenhill, I'm just going to lurk.
Lurk away. No problem. Lurk away. I'm too tired and it's too late in the live stream to recap what I'm talking about, but I'm pretty sure the title of the live stream, and I'm pretty sure if you have been on the internet and social media, you will know what these reports are anyway, so fuck it. So I think, but by the way, how are you, by the way? It's good to have you in the live stream. So yeah, that will break the internet, just that alone. And people will all be talking about the successor to the Switch and its reveal or tease the following day. And of course, people will tune in the following day at 3 p.m. 2 seconds. I'm actually not even joking. I'm actually cutting my toenails. Has to be done, like. I mean, So people will tune in. As I say, you have to cut your toenails in the dark. We'll soon find out. People will tune in at 3 o'clock to Nintendo socials, and just like they did with the reveal of the Switch, people will see what this thing is with their own eyes, their own ears, and it'll be what it is. I can't say what it is. None of us can say what it is. It'll be what it is. They might show tease a handful of games. So it'll be a tease. It'll be like a minute and a half or 3 minute tease of what this console is, and then at the end they will say, "Tune in." Tune in at the Game Awards for a full reveal. No, not the Game Awards. It won't be the Game Awards. Nintendo will do it in their own way. Tune in on December or January, right, for a full reveal. They'll have their own event like they did with the Switch, and they'll launch it in summer 2024. And that's what'll happen. Like, it's not going to randomly show up in the middle of a fucking. It's not going to randomly show up in the middle of a direct. Like, Jeff Keighley's not going to, like, announce some indie game and then follow it like, oh yeah, and by the way, Switch 2 is coming out. So yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to be happening. Literally cutting my toenails. So I think that's going to be that's going to be the end of the live stream, our discussion. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking part in the discussion, and I will see you next time on Greenhill Gaming.